Naples, Florida, where mud and horsepower go hand in hand. But today, instead of the swamp buggies on the mile of mud, it's the NMRO's finest who come calling. But for most, the visit will last but a mere 2 seconds. Coming up next, we'll see who makes the down and dirty dash to victory lane. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the all-stars of the four-wheel and off-road JAMBOREE Suncoast Nationals. Welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network. Today we come to you from Florida Sports Park in Naples for the four-wheel and off-road JAMBOREE Suncoast Nationals. Hi everybody, I'm Gary Lee. The swamp buggies have been a tradition here in Naples for over 40 years. In fact, Diamond P has a long association. It was over a decade ago that we first televised swamp buggy racing here in Naples. But last year was the first year we came down here for mud racing. And if last year was any indication, this racing facility will offer up some memorable moments. And here with more on that is Army Armstrong.
Well, Gary, as you well know, last year Naples, Florida brought out some of the wildest mud racing we've ever seen, some of the most different body styles we've ever seen in the sport. For an example, remember the little Chevrolet Blazer that came and ran so hard through the pit, he tried to turn it sideways to get stopped? It didn't work for him. He flipped it end over end. And then, of course, there was a young lady who started in the left lane in a 27 Ford Roadster, jumped out of that pit over into the right lane to go through the finish line. Not a good run for her. But one of the most surprising and most impressive runs I've ever seen in the sport came with one of the wildest El Caminos with two-wheel drive only. This guy literally pulled the feet out of the water and walked it out of the other end. The only problem there, he couldn't get it stopped in time. That's the kind of action I believe we're going to be seeing here today, Gary, from Naples, Florida. The sandy track is looking quick and fast. Great mud racing coming your way right now.
If the twin mud pits look short, they are. Only 140 feet as compared to what we normally use, 180 feet. Now our first matchup in the side-by-side single-pass format where the best overall time will win is Tommy Walker in the Budweiser Thunderbird. He's from Altamont Springs, Florida, up by Orlando. And he pulls alongside Mike Jones' Top Dog, the 23 Alter T with the 427 cubic inch nitrous-injected Chevy power plant. And earlier, Army took a look at this vehicle.
Gary, the Jones brother mud racing team out of Titusville, Florida have found out maybe what might be the secret to make them the top dog in the sport. And it's not really a secret. Every racer at one time or another is going to find this out. Come with me on this. I'm going to show you. It's weight. Everybody knows the easiest way to make horsepower and the quickest way to make horsepower is to lose weight. They have lost 10 pounds of weight by adding aluminum wheels. These particular wheels manufactured in Kansas City by the Weld Wheel people. They're the same wheels the sprint car guys use to get them off a corner much quicker. They lost 10 pounds of weight there. But what I find interesting is that these tires came out there, DOT legal. They're regular highway tires, but in this sport you're allowed to cut out what you don't want. Each tire they've cut out about 25 pounds of weight. So you take the 25 pounds that they lose here, plus the weight they take off the wheel. Now this vehicle is carrying 140 pounds of less weight, and that makes instant horsepower. I say instant horsepower because you got to remember in mud racing, the sport's only 2.5 to 3 seconds long.
So this is indeed competition in the cut tire class. Walker against Jones. Jones the far side, Walker the near lane.
Both drivers lead the line good, a good smooth track, a good sandy shutdown area. We should see some quick times here today, Gary.
Army will check the time for Walker first. That comes in at 2:69. 2:69 for Tommy Walker in the Budweiser Thunderbird. Now let's go back and take a look one more time as they come off the line. Once again, a single pass. They're racing against the clock and not each other. We'll get a time now on Mike Jones at 2:50. At 2:50 for Jones, he leads. Let's go down by the track and talk to Mike.
A 2:50 first out of the box. You got to be tickled with that. Is it to your advantage to go early in this sport?
Yeah, I believe it is. The track's nice and smooth. You don't have a lot of ruts to deal with, and it makes the run just a lot easier to run like that.
Well, coming up next, there is a look at Tom Marsh in the Intruder. How many times have we seen Tom here on Trucks and Tractor Power out of Vandalia, Ohio, a suburb of Dayton?
He's driven a long way to get down here, but in the other lane right next to him is the Florida boy himself. He'll be driving the Chevy Exchange vehicle. That'll be Tim Pittson out of Davie, Florida. like to do good, but remember, you only get one shot in this game. Marsh, if you were to see him on the street, Gary, I guarantee you think he was a high school basketball coach. He does not look like a mud racer, but he goes like one, doesn't he?
Lays down a good run here. Let's check the time. A 2:62 for Tom Marsh. 2:62, not fast enough to knock off Mike Jones, and there's Tim's time of 2:82. So Tom Marsh will go second on the leaderboard behind Mike Jones, 2:50. Let's take a look again.
Replay comes up. You know, you got to really love this sport when it only lasts 2.5 to 3 seconds.
Well, once again, Tom Marsh second quick this afternoon, and he is down trackside with Army.
A 2.6, but it seemed like something let go on the run. What happened?
Well, it come off the line real good there, Army, and it was building speed, but then the head gasket let loose there, and it went down on the end.
When something like that happens, can you just feel the bottom drop out of it?
Oh, yeah, it's really pulling hard about that time when that happened, and you can really feel it. It's like somebody just shut the key off on it.
Well, that will cost him perhaps a victory here this afternoon. We're coming back with more from Southern Florida. Welcome back to Florida Sports Park here in Naples as Ford Trucks present the Penda four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Suncoast Nationals, a part of the B.F. Goodrich Performance Series. I'm Gary Lee alongside Army Armstrong. Side-by-side mud racing continues now. Big Doug McClung, the Fat Cat, an 87 Monte Carlo with a big blow and alcohol Chevrolet. He will go up against the rear-engine dragster of Mike Atkins.
Gary, I met Mike Atkins a few years ago. He has a whole different theory to this sport. He's based out of Orlando, Florida. He says he likes racing in Florida. There is a difference in the track. His car is set up for a sandy track. You say, what do you mean set up? He says that the rear engine is the way to go on the South Florida sandy tracks. He says where it's real heavy mud, it doesn't work that well, but the whole idea of the car in the far lane is to get the front wheels literally out of the water and really just go through a two-wheel drive.
In racing, you call that walking it down the mud.
Oh, he did. Whoa,
yeah, he walked it all right. Hang on there as they both have trouble getting woed. Let's check the time now. First, Mike Atkins. Look at that, a 2:48. Well, the theory works.
Yeah, but Doug comes on strong, short wheelbase car. He goes third quick with a 2:54. That was a good, strong side-by-side run, Gary Lee.
Well, let's take a look at it again then.
Two different theories. Rear motor car on the right side, short wheelbase front motor car on the left side, and they both go awfully quick, Gary.
Once again, the rear drive only is able to lift the front wheels and walk it through. Let's go down and talk to Mike Atkins.
Mike, a good, quick time for you. Think that'll hold up?
I hope so, Army. It's a little early in the race. Track looks real good. Hopefully it's going to stick in there. I'm sure hoping so. Anyway, we're looking forward for it.
Well, Gary, one of the interesting things we were talking earlier about wheel combinations and tire combinations, I want you to notice the cut that he has on his tire. He's probably got less cleats, this area right here, that gets the bite than any vehicle here. But boy, it sure does go quick that way. Back to you, Gary.
His theory seems to be working as we take a look at Snoot. Here's Buddy Curley. A member of the 2-Second Club, the 1916 Dodge. And don't forget that Buddy owns a barbecue restaurant in Welcome, North Carolina. I wonder if he delivers.
Gary, if he does, I'll guarantee you, it's quick delivery. He's going to be going up against a Virginia driver, Paul Wisniewski, out of Virginia Beach, will be in the other lane. Remember, these guys both have come a long way. Just for about a 2.5 to 3 second shot, you got to go quicker than that 2:48 to do it. The barbecue bandit in the lane closest to us.
Well, yeah, remember they're going against the clock.
Virginia is the lovers is in the other lane. Let's get both states to push. Whoa, I'm impressed.
Look at that shot.
All Chrysler. Chrysler horsepower and Chrysler body. Let's see what kind of time we have here. Whoa.
Body at a 2:17. I guess that would be fast delivery. 2:17, and Paul has a 3:05.
Gary, the 2:17 number has everybody talking.
Look once again at the replay, and look at that hole shot that he got. Oh, he cut a great line. Let's go down now and talk to Buddy Curley.
Gary, what you're looking at is a supercharged Chrysler Hemi engine. And the reason we're telling you that is that's the engine that made the quick time so far of a 2:17. Congratulations.
Thank you, Army. It was a real good pit. Car hooked real good off of the line, and it went straight.
You know, if I were going to go to North Carolina and buy some barbecue, where should I go, though?
Come to Curley's Barbecue, and we got you some barbecue over in the trailer.
Gary, we'll be getting back to you a little bit later. Back to you.
Now, Army, don't be eating that barbecue. You want to stay light on your feet. And speaking of light on your feet, here is Bill Oldenwald with the Chevy 511 cubic inch Chevy nitrous injected power plant. And earlier, Army took a look at how mud racing machines like Lightfoot try to quicken the pace.
Gary, we're looking at an aluminum racing wheel. And earlier in the show, we told you how important saving weight was in the sport. We explained that this particular wheel combination will save you about 10 pounds. 10 pounds off each corner is a lot of weight, but these guys have figured another way to save 2 more pounds per corner, and that is by going to not aluminum but a carbon fiber wheel. So you might say that high-tech space technology has definitely found its way into the mud. Back to you, Gary.
But high-tech also costs money as we take a look at Little Beaver, and that is a modified Jeep. Don Cooper comes in from Fort Myers, Florida. That's the custom chassis with the 502 cubic inch glowing alcohol Chevy. Little Beaver starts the stage. We look for, there is the nose of Lightfoot. Once again, a time to beat at 2:17.
Look at the hole Lightfoot is rolling himself into. Now, that's one thing about the sport. Whoa!
Oh,
You have to go in the ruts of the man in front of you. Lightfoot, when he left the line, actually looked like he jumped in reverse. What kind of time we have on Cooper?
well, 2:52 on Don Cooper, but obviously some engine problems in Bill's Lightfoot. Well, you hate to be a crewman and have to walk out there and dig one of those racers out of the mud. Buddy Curley continues to lead here in Naples at 2:17. Mike Atkins in the Stinger dragster is second at 2:48. Mike Jones, top dog, at 2:50.
Gary, what you're going to see here is not the New Orleans blues. This is the South Florida blues right here.
Yes, he's waiting to be pulled out of the mud as we'll come back for more mud racing in Naples, Florida. Stay with us. Welcome back to Florida Sports Park here in Naples as the side-by-side mud racing continues here on Trucks and Tractor Power. And we take a look at the Silver Streak. Here is Kent Caldwell. Now, Kent is the husband of Sheila Caldwell, who took that wild ride here a year ago. He's across the state from Jupiter, Florida. It's the 27 Roadster. And he'll be pulling up alongside James Overton in the Spare Parts Ford.
One thing about Overton, he's from the left coast of America. He's from California. You talk about they give a long distance reward away. I'll guarantee I know who's going to take it.
Army, I like the diverse body styles in this sport. There's a 32 Ford Delivery.
Yeah, and in the other lane is a 27 Ford Roadster. Pick your
To
poison.
see if the Delivery can deliver. Remember, it's against the clock and not against each other.
I don't think we're going to have any players here. No, a 277. Not a bad time, but only a 140-foot track, Gary.
And 310 for Jim Overton. So that's a long haul from California to put it back on the trailer and take off back to the West Coast.
Hey, the Beach Boys had a song about this car. You ever hear about the Little Deuce Coupe? Well, you're looking at one right now. But the last time we saw this guy, he was having some bad luck. Remember last year?
Rolled her over, didn't he?
That's right.
He had a Blazer that he rolled over. Garland Walls from Port Orange, Florida in the Gambler. Now, last year it was a Blazer. Now it's a Little Deuce Coupe.
He'll be going against Randy Donald and the Southern Warrior. It's a 32 Vicky body style powered by Chrysler. If anything at all, Randy's got a brand new combination here. I don't think he's ever driven this vehicle before. He's a little bit apprehensive, and I would be too. He's making about 1,800 horsepower. Just kind of keep an eye on him.
A lot of ponies to hang on to in a short mud pit, and look at the Deuce Coupe. He's away.
Yeah, we got a problem, Gary. We got a throttle. Okay, the throttle was hung wide open on the Chrysler-powered vehicle. Very wisely, the driver stays after it and shuts it down. He did not panic, but 1,800 horsepower, 140-mile-an-hour wheel speed. He had to be swallowing hard. Garland Walls, hey, what can you say?
Good run for the Gambler.
He's still a player, but Garland goes ahead and leads first. I think that's a wise move for the other driver. Let him go ahead and get out of the way. Because if they had been side by side, we would have had a problem. Meanwhile, at this point, now the driver realized I am in trouble. I cannot get it to stop. Pulls the kill switch.
Well, that's the point when you have to have a cool head to know exactly what to do. And let's go down and talk to Randy.
Gary, the Chrysler Hemi engine is notorious for making all kinds of horsepower. Now, the worst case scenario I think we may have seen right here, when you can't control that horsepower, what happened on the run?
Well, it felt like to me that we had a throttle hung up on me. And, of course, then I just had to drive it out.
Are you okay?
Yeah, a little shook up, but we're okay.
But check his pulse rate as we take a look at legal speed and Glenn Seabolt, 91 NMRO national champ.
You know, Glenn Seabolt is the kind of guy that can go to a funeral home and have a good time. He's got one of the best outlooks on life I've ever seen. He's out of South Georgia, and he just has fun. And he goes awfully fast. Who's he going up against, Gary?
Rick Milstead in the Blowin' Crazy, a 1931 Crown Victoria, the big block 454 out of Jackson, Alabama.
Both drivers are going to be way up on horsepower. 217, that is quick. Milstead and Seabolt, both of them running supercharged engine, both wheelbase about the same, but notice the car settling down right now on the starting line. See, the guys in front of you dig a rut. You got to run in that rut. Boy,
good pass, though. A good pass for both drivers. Let's check the time. There's Rick's at 2:36. This track could be getting faster for everybody concerned. A 2:31 for Glenn Seabolt, but still not quick enough. That 2:17 is still the benchmark here in Naples, Florida. One more look.
This is just a good old-fashioned side-by-side race. Check it out.
Well, let's go down trackside and talk to Glenn Seabolt.
Well, Gary, as the smoke shows you, they're leaning on the equipment in Naples, Florida. Glenn Seabolt, first of all, happy birthday. Second of all, you went straight and stayed in your own pit this time. That's improvement.
Yeah, we're getting it straightened out now. We're going to do good from now.
You really have a lot of fun with this sport, don't you?
Yeah, I'm getting old enough to learn what I need to do now.
A big, infectious smile from Glenn Seabolt, who now moves to third on the leaderboard behind Buddy Curley at 2:17, Garland Walls at 2:30, and then Glenn Seabolt at 2:31. So now let's go back trackside. Here's Rick Milstead.
Well, Rick, when you line up against a guy like him, do you drive your own race, or does he intimidate you at all, or what goes through your mind when you're sitting against an old pro like that?
Just try to learn from him. He's one of the best.
But right now, he's having problems on the sandy track trying to get to the paddock area. Look at that. The four-wheeler can't pull him out. Welcome back to Florida Sports Park in Naples, where Ford Trucks present the Penda four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Suncoast Nationals, a part of the BF Goodrich Performance Series. These Jamborees offer a host of activities for the truck lover as well as the entire family. And to find out more, call or write the Special Events Promotion Company. Well, as we draw towards the end of today's competition, it will be Jimmy Botkins Jr. in the Exciter 2, a big block nitrous-powered Jeep. Now, earlier in today's competition, Jimmy's dad, James Sr., turned in an impressive 2.89 run. This is earlier today. Botkins against Johnson. The right-hand lane, a good run for the senior Botkins.
I wonder if he'll take any information back and give it to his son that would help him go quicker.
Well, the Andretti clan did that when Mario and Michael were racing together, so I'm sure father and son can pass along some information. We also look at William Austin out of West Palm Beach, Florida, in Obsession.
Now, he's running a bigger body. Okay, a little bit weight advantage would have to go to the far lane.
Never running the clock, though.
Quickest way to make horsepower and lose weight.
All right, we'll check the time as we come down to the last of our competitors here this afternoon. A 2.71 for Jimmy Jr. and for Bill a 3.27.
Yeah, but a 327 for a full-body vehicle is not a bad time at all. All these guys are running quick down here, Gary.
Well, it looks like the track may be getting faster as the day wears on. As we take a look now at our final competitor, he'll be catching a single, and that will be Al Stebbins in Rapid Transit, a 23 Roadster with the big block blowing Chevy power plant.
This is one of the bad boys of the sport right here. I really enjoy watching this guy run. He attacks the track. But again, you notice how the vehicles have to settle in the 4 low spots. Each tire is setting down about 4 or 5 inches right now.
He lifts it, he carries it down the lane. What a run for Al Stebbins. Let's check. Look at that. He does it. The last one out is the quick one at 2:11. Al Stebbins will be our victor here in Naples, Florida. 2:11.11.
Pulled a feet out of the water. You can hear that alcohol engine just wailing on the other end. Look at this. Just picked him. 2-wheel drive, Gary. 2:11 and 2-wheel drive to the bank.
Incredible. As we talk, perhaps the track was getting faster as the day was to wear on, and Al Stebbins takes the victory at a 2:11 in the final pass of the afternoon. Buddy Curley drops to second at 2:17, and Garland Walls takes third in the Gambler at 2:30. Let's go talk to our victor. Here's Al.
Well, Gary, as you well know, any win is a good win, but Al, winning one in your own home state, that's got to make you feel great.
Makes me feel terrific, Army. We do a lot of traveling. The competition's real good anymore. A number of people could win it at any given time, but when you win at home, that's the best.
Well, you know, Gary, we find it kind of interesting because one of the things that all the drivers are bringing out to it with these traveling pros from all over the country, the Florida boys get to keep all the big money in the Sunshine State. Back to you, Gary.
Well, Army, of course, we do our share of traveling, and we certainly enjoy coming down to the Sunshine State. We offer our congratulations to Al Stebbin on a great drive.
He studied the track, knew he was last in line, and went to the head of the class in less than 3 seconds, Gary.
Save the best for last. So for Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. We'll see you next week on Trucks and Tractor Power. Now here's news and an exciting video release from Diamond P Sports.